The Charleston Library Society is a treasure trove of history, education, culture, and an illustrious list of erudite speakers whose voices have echoed through its hall. Well, we're delighted to be joined by Ann Cleveland, Executive Director for the Charleston Library Society. And let's welcome back Lee Pringle, Founder and Artistic Director of the Color of Music Festival, which will be performing there next week. It's great to have you both.
Thank you.
Wonderful to be here.
Well, first, thank you so much for coming back. You were just here back in February.
Yes, great to be here again.
So it's nice to see you again, and you've got a debut coming up that I want to share with our audiences in just a little bit, which is exciting. But Ann, first, if you could, just remind our audiences what the Library Society is all about and its rich history.
It's got a rich history. It was founded in 1748 by 19 young men who, none of whom was wealthy enough to have his own library, so they pooled their resources and established relationships with booksellers in London primarily, and started accumulating anything that was new in the world, information, novels, art, agriculture, you name it. They wanted whatever was the most up-to-date information, and they were a really intellectually curious group of people.
Yeah, and that legacy continues to this day. Now, you have a very special relationship with Ann, Lee,
Yes.
So maybe you could tell us a bit more about how far you two go back.
Well, we go 15 years back when Ann was newly appointed as the Executive Director and CEO of the Library Society. And she told me when I became a member, she wanted to open the doors to the community and embrace the community and let them see that these iconic archives were a part of the work that the Library Society was involved in. One of the original copies of the Declaration of Independence, the Bose Haywood's original manuscript of Porgy, the play Porgy, and just countless other gems. And because at that time I had just started the Charleston Symphony Spiritual Ensemble, I wanted to merge the history of the African American spiritual, which started in 1871, a couple of years after, but I felt that it was a good match so that people could understand that the Carolina colony was one of those areas that originated something that permeates around the globe, because none of the other colonies got the spiritual. It was only here on the continent of North America. So we had a performance called Circa 1748 that I produced, and that was a precursor to the Color of Music Festival. And so she's a special person to me.
And the rest is history, as
they say. Well, I hope it's history, but we were part of history in her institution.
That's amazing.
We are lucky in that as a cultural institution, we are not defined by anything other than wanting to share ideas. And I grew up in a very musical family, and music is a very important part of my life. I turn on classical music when I start work and don't turn it off till I leave. And one of the first things I did was to bring in a piano to the Library Society, which kind of confused people. We thought this was supposed to be quiet. I said, no. And
that's what makes it a unique place, because it's not just a library, but it's a gathering place. It's a bindery. It's a conservatory. It's a laboratory.
We call it Charleston's living room.
Yes, indeed. It truly is. And you'll be performing there. Your Color of Music Festival will be performing there. Miss Onyango will be also, Yarborough Davenport. She's going to be performing as well. And what is she going to be performing?
We're going to have a quintet, and we're going to be performing a historic composer by the name of Florence Beatrice Price. Florence Price died in 1953, but she was a Renaissance woman. She was an African-American woman that had one of her compositions played with the Chicago Symphony in 1933, which was a first. It was a big deal. And she was on piano, playing her piano concerto in one movement. And so we're going to perform one of her chamber pieces, and Onyango and Kyle P. Walker, who you've interviewed, will be guest artists.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, this is happening Thursday, May 19th at 7 p.m. at the Charleston Library Society, right there on King Street. I could talk to you about this forever. Thank you both so much.
But there's also going to be a reception afterwards, so that the
Mix and
audience will
mingle
be
and-
able to mingle with the musicians.
love it.
Yeah, meet the artists. Yeah.
And the one thing that I didn't get enough time to talk about, you're going to be making your New York City debut.
Yes,
So stay tuned, everybody, because the Color of Music Festival is going places. I want to thank you both so very much
no,
for coming.
thank you.
Thank you. We're back after this.